god, why is my thing I thought you were just trying to finish them all. A pig or some shit. Something
Lucy,
stupid.
the stream can hear you, by the way, so...
Hear me.
Okay, then. I think. Potty chat. Oh, let me look. I don't think they can. Yeah, I haven't heard anything. Alright.
Listen to me!
Is everyone here? Okay then, please board the elevator in front of you, which will transport you to the courtroom. Where all your I'll meet you all down there. I'll be waiting.
Do I... Can you just go? Okay.
Well,
Yes, indeed. Hey, Makoto.
Jose? I swear I'll find out who the real killer is. Thought. I turned Jambalaya towards the elevator. With each step forward, I could feel my heart starting to race faster and faster. Everyone else was already on the elevator when I finally stepped on. The doors closed and the elevator started to move. Ozzy, are you a ballerina? The steel box descended with heavy clunking sounds towards the school basement. I wonder if this is how a death row inmate feels when his time has finally come.
Oh.
Rather than that, it's not really good. Waiting to receive his judgment. Oblivious to our shared anxiety, the elevator lowered us further and further into the bowels of the school. It's like Hollywood movies, right?
shit.
Well now.
Now, hurry up. Open e-handbook. Okay, bullets. I think I know everything. Alright, we're good. Trial. All rise.
Let's begin with a basic explanation of the class trial. So, your votes will determine the results. If you can figure out who done it, then only they will receive punishment. But if you pick the wrong one, Then I'll punish everyone besides the blackened, and the one that deceived everyone else will graduate.
And the killer really is one of us, right?
Of course!
Okay then. Everyone, close your eyes. And whoever did it, raise your hand.
Don't be a goddamn idiot. Why the hell would they raise their hand?
Before we move on and start the trial, can I ask a question real quick? Those pictures.
I'd feel awful if they got left out just because they died. Friendship penetrates even death's barrier.
Friendship penetrates? Okay, but what about that other empty seat? There were only 15 of us to begin with, so why are there 16 seats?
Oh, no reason. It's just that our little courtroom here can technically fit up to 16 people. Okay, that about does it for the preamble. Get ready to get started. First up is the case summary. Now, let the class trial begin.
Get to decide who we think the killer is. Anything I found, anything I noticed, I have to be ready to speak up about everything. Because this isn't just about me, everyone's lives are on the line. This non-stop debate is about to begin. Would you like to hear more? No. Okay, make your argument.
I assert that the one who was murdered was Miss Sayaka Maizono.
Yeah, we know that part already. And the murder took place in Makoto's room.
In the bathroom. So it seems most likely the killer must have taken it. She didn't even have a chance to resist.
I assert that the one who was murdered was Miss Sayaka Maizono.
Yeah, we know that part already. And the murder.
Evidence is strong. Scratches and gouges on the ground.
Murder took place in
How do
Makoto's room.
In the bathroom. So it seems most likely the killer must have taken her by surprise while she was in the bathroom. She didn't even have a chance to
I don't know how to do this.
resist.
I assert that the one who was murdered was Miss... Sayaka Maizono!
Yeah, we know that part already. And the murder took place in Makoto's room.
In the bathroom. Likely that the killer must have taken her by surprise while she was in the bathroom. She didn't even have a chance to resist.
I assert...
Took place in
In
Makoto.
the bathroom. So it seems most likely. That the killer must have taken her by surprise while she was in the bathroom. She didn't even have a chance to resist.
I assert that the... One who was murdered was Miss Sayaka Maizono.
Yeah,
You know that part already.
and the murder took place in Makoto.
In the bathroom. So it seems most likely the killer must have taken her by surprise while she was in the bathroom. She didn't even have a chance to resist.
I assert that the one who was murdered
Yeah, and the murder took
In the bathroom. So it seems the killer must have taken her by surprise while she was in the bathroom. She didn't even have a chance to resist.
I assert that the one who was
First word, weak spots. My character is talking. Some text may appear in yellow.
murdered was Miss Sayaka Maizono.
Yeah, you know that part. And the murder took place
In the bathroom. So it seems most likely that the killer must have taken her by surprise while she was in the bathroom. She didn't even have a chance to resist.
No, it's wrong.
I understand.
Just a second, Chihiro. Try to remember how my room looked. With the way things had been damaged, I think we can definitely assume there was a struggle.
A struggle? Between who and who?
Between Sayaka and the killer, of course.
So you're saying Sayaka wasn't caught by surprise in the bathroom? She must have been attacked in the main room first. Then, she ran to the bathroom to try and hide. The killer followed her in, and that's where they finished the job.
That much should have been obvious after taking one look at the scene. It shouldn't even need explaining.
Sorry.
Okay, so what's next?
Next is the subject of the murder weapon.
Wow, this is starting to sound like a real trial.
Your argument. Kitchen knife set.
So what was used to kill her?
There was some kind of sharp object. Without a doubt, that is the murder weapon.
So the killer used some random knife they had on him.
No, it's wrong. No. I do think it was a knife, but not just...
Okay, so the murder weapon was a kitchen knife, but where does that get us? I mean, we all know Makoto killed her, right?
That's right.
Hold on a second.
Let's draw our conclusions after we presented our arguments. Otherwise, what's the point of the trial?
Well, we can talk all we want. It's not going to change that conclusion.
You really believe...
Make your argument. Always a comment.
So I guess there's no question that the kitchen knife was the murder weapon. But where does that get us?
Makoto must have did it in secret.
No, it's wrong. Okay, wait. Hold on. I didn't take the knife from the kitchen.
Huh?
Remember what you were telling me earlier?
Well, I went to get some tea from the kitchen last night, and all the knives were still there. But when I finished my tea, I went back into the kitchen to wash my glass, and one of the knives was gone. So you're saying the knife disappeared while you were drinking my tea in the dining room?
Just to be perfectly clear, the knife disappeared while you were in the dining...
Yeah, that's right.
And at any point while you were there, did you ever see me come into the dining hall?
No, I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No, he definitely wasn't there.
The knife disappeared while Hino was in the dining hall, but I wasn't there the entire time. In other words, there's no way I could have taken the knife.
Okay,
Then what about this? What if the idiot swimmer girl and Makoto are in on it together and lying to protect each other?
Idiot swimmer girl? Oh, and more importantly, why would I get involved in something like that?
Speaking of which, I'd like to ask the bear, if there is an accomplice, do they also become blackened?
So you ask, and so I shall answer. Each murder is allowed to have an accomplice, but only the one who does the killing will get to graduate.
So in other words, two people can work together, but one of them has no chance of profiting from it.
Then there's no way anyone would work together, right?
But what if they did work together, and they just didn't know about the rule?
Ugh, good grief! Enough already! No, okay? There are no accomplices in Oops!
Did I say? Anyway, I did, so I'm not the killer.
Okay, so then, who did take the knife? Hina seems the obvious candidate. After all, she just said she was in the dining hall. No way! I swear it wasn't...
Sure, but can you or anyone else prove that?
I can.
That's right. Sakura was with me the entire time I was drinking my tea.
I hate to have to ask, but just to be sure, Sakura's...
Me.
Right.
But then, couldn't either one of them have grabbed the knife?
Actually, no. Because, well...
Just spit it out already.
I stayed in Hina's room last night.
I just asked her to stay over, which means we have airtight alibis.
You stayed over? Doesn't that violate one of the school regulations?
We're not allowed to sleep anywhere but the dorms, but it doesn't say we have to stay in our assigned room, so I don't think that's a problem.
It is a problem! A boy and a girl spending the night together? It's unwholesome!
But I'm a girl.
You are? Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry!
But if it wasn't either of you, then what other possibility is there?
Actually, there is one other possibility. Right, Hina?
Oh, yeah, that's true! One other person did come to the dining hall while we were there.
Why didn't you say so in the first place?
Well, because they're not here anymore. Sayaka. She's the one who came to the dining hall. And then later, she wound up dead.
You know...
I got it! Then, Sayaka is the one who took the knife?
That's the only possibility. And thinking back on it, she was acting kind of unusual. When she came into the dining hall, she didn't even look at us. She just went straight to the kitchen. As she left, she said she just wanted a drink of water. But most likely...
And the person who took the knife was the victim herself!
I'm sure she just took it for self-defense.
So you're saying the knife she took was then taken from her, and she was killed with it? In that case, you may not have taken the knife, but you still could have killed her.
What?
See? He did do it after all!
No! You're wrong!
So, that's how you would twist the argument and send us all off in the wrong direction? You possess a most terrifying talent.
Hold on. It's still too early to decide conclusively that Makoto is the killer, wouldn't you say?
None.
Because you see, if the room did belong to the killer, then they did something most bewildering. And until we unravel that little mystery, you simply can't declare that he's the killer.
Bewildering? What the hell are you talking about?
Something was missing from the scene of the crime that by all rights...
I think he did. Absolutely. Clash trial, the hangman's gambit will eventually take place. Play this important phrase related to the incident in question. You'll have to deduce the phrase from the letters flying around the letters already known. Complete the phrase by shooting down the flying letters in the right order. Use the left stick to aim. Shoot down the hi.
That's right! There wasn't a single hair on the floor!
So, the culprit removed some evidence?
Yes. And if I were the culprit, why would I need to get rid of all the hair in my own room? It wouldn't be unusual at all to find my hair at the crime scene if the crime scene is in my room.
The reason all the hair was gone was to remove any trace that Sayaka had ever been there. That makes sense, does it not?
No. If that were the case, they would have had to do something about the body itself, not just her hair.
Yes, very true, very true.
Okay, then why wasn't there any hair on the ground?
The killer got rid of it all, of course, to remove any trace that they had ever been there.
Then that means...
Precisely. It's simply beyond reason to believe that the room's owner and the killer are one and the same.
Then Makoto isn't the culprit?
Are you sure we can decide something so important based solely on the absence of some hair?
No. There are other reasons that prove why Makoto couldn't have done it.
I would like to hear these reasons.
Do you remember anything remarkable about the bathroom at the scene? Sayaka was attacked in the main room first, then fled into the bathroom, right?
Yeah, then they ran after her, got into the bathroom, and stabbed her.
And how did the killer get into the bathroom? Did they have any trouble with it?
What do you mean?
It's fairly certain that the killer had some trouble getting into the bathroom. There was clear evidence left behind. Do you remember, Makoto?
The killer struggled getting into the bathroom, and the evidence that proves it is the object the killer broke was the doorknob. Makoto's bathroom doorknob had been broken, the screws holding it in place had all been partially or completely removed.
I got it! Evidence that the killer had trouble getting into the bathroom. You're talking about the doorknob, right?
Huh? The doorknob? What door?
Bathroom. It was completely broken. See how the top part was unscrewed? And the doorknob's about ready to fall off?
Oh yeah, true.
But in trying to bypass the lock, they ended up... This is another most bewildering act for the room's owner.
So what? You're saying he wouldn't break the door in his own room? But if the only choice you have is to break it, you break it. There's nothing bewildering about it.
You still don't see? Okay, then. Let's take another look at how the incident unfolded.
Leon did it. Kyoko said it was a bewildering act. I almost didn't notice at first, but is that the key point here? There's a bit more to learn about non-stop debates. Would you like to hear more? Absolutely. Number of weak spots will start going up, but no matter how many weak spots, there's essentially only one lie or contradiction in that debate. What I'm trying to say is not all weak spots you see are necessarily false. Use a truth bullet on the wrong one, and not only will you fail to refute what they said, but you'll also lower your trust with everyone and your influence judge. It's important because if you're you fail.
The incident took place in Makoto's room. Sayaka was first attacked in the main room. She then fled into the bathroom.
Then the killer ran after her, and they got into the bathroom.
At that point, the killer had to try and bust down the door because Sayaka had locked it.
No, that's wrong. The reason my bathroom didn't open wasn't after all. The girls' rooms are...
Yes, now that you mention it, that is true.
Then why didn't you...
Because it was stuck. Huh? What do you... My bathroom door doesn't fit in the frame quite right. Monokuma over there can testify to that.
Yup, true as true can be. But you know, you're supposed to be the ultimate lucky student, right? But to have such a cruddy door... That's not lucky at all!
So the reason the door didn't open was just because it was stuck. But the killer didn't know that and assumed it was locked. So they tore apart the doorknob to get in.
Okay, but then why would the killer even think the door was locked in the first place? Everyone should have known you can't lock any of the boys' bathrooms.
The killer could easily make that mistake, thanks to one important detail about the scene of the crime.
The killer was convinced the bathroom door was locked, so they didn't know that the door actually couldn't be locked. In other words, the important detail about the scene of the crime they didn't know was...
I got it! The killer must not have realized that it was my room.
What? Are you saying the culprit didn't even know where he was? That's inconceivable.
And yet, he's absolutely right.
Say what?
Well, to be more specific, what the killer didn't know was that Makoto and Sayaka had switched rooms, which is what led to the misunderstanding about the bathroom.
Then there would have been a lock on the door, and they would have had to break through!
So they had no idea how
Ultimately, we can't know if the killer must have been considerably confused, with no idea how they actually got the door opened.
Regardless, it was a pointless act. Wasting time trying to break down a door that wasn't locked.
Definitely something I wouldn't do, since I would have known exactly why it wasn't opening, right?
That is a definite possibility.
So the killer would have to be someone who didn't know they'd switched...
Then Makoto couldn't have done it.
Okay, then who did do it?
I'm sorry, but I give up! Quit without saving!
But what happens if we can't decide on who we think did it?
Well, why don't we just vote right now? Majority rules!
Majority rules? You really think that's a good idea?
Yeah, our necks are on the line here.
Does no one have any other thoughts?
Oh! As a matter of... Oh. You don't gotta sound so disappointed.
It's fine, it's fine. Just ask your question.
Oh, yeah. Okay, well... I was just wondering...
Yes. How did...
Maybe Sayaka just dropped the key somewhere and the culprit picked it up. That's possible, right?
I don't think so. That seems way too convenient.
Then... maybe someone picked the...
Negative! If you remember, Monokuma made it quite clear that the locks are all unpickable.
Fine. How about this? The killer got in the easy way. They could have knocked and said they wanted to talk or something, and Ms. Maizono just let him in.
No, that can't be it either.
Oh! Trying to argue against me? Hello? Why exactly can't that be it?
Shoot! I got it! Because Sayaka was already scared, remember? That's why she asked me to switch rooms in the first place. Knowing what she'd been through, I just can't believe she would have opened the door for anyone.
What if her being scared was a lie?
Huh? What the hell is that supposed to mean? Why would she lie about...
I know you don't want to consider it, but look... I found a notepad during my search, and I shaded in the top sheet with a pencil. And these are the words that have...
Oh man! I've totally seen people do that on detective shows. When you write, it can leave an imprint. Sketch over the next sheet of paper, and you can see the words. When I saw that, I was like, holy crap! I'd better make sure I rip the paper out before I use it from now on.
It's a pretty old-fashioned technique, but even the classic... Which means only someone who had been in Makoto's room before the incident.
Then either it was
So, Makoto, did you...
No, I didn't.
But of course you didn't. Because the note also bears a perfectly legible signature. Sayaka's signature.
But why?
The note was likely her way of getting... She must have slid it under their door to let them know she wanted to meet with them.
If you got an invitation like that from the ultimate pop sensation, what young man could resist?
Of course, I'm only into 2D, so it wouldn't have any effect on me.
But can we be sure anyone even got this note? And honestly, even if they did, I do not think they are at all involved in what happened.
Huh? What makes you say that?
Would you like to hear what I have to say? Very well then. Pay attention. Sayaka and Makoto switched rooms, correct? But in the note, the plate specifically says, I see.
Then they would have thought exactly.
The room that Makoto...
So in other words,
it specifically says, my room. Sayaka and Makoto switched rooms, correct? But in the note, the place they were asked to come, it specifically says, I see.
Then they would have gone to exactly.
The room that...
No, it's wrong! The nameplates on Mai and Sayaka's rooms got switched.
They got switched?
That's right. The nameplates got switched, just like the rooms themselves. As a result, the nameplate on Sayaka's room and the nameplate on Makoto's...
So what you're saying is, the room Sayaka was staying in was actually...
Then, if someone did do what the note said, they would end up at Makoto's room where Sayaka was.
Plus, their rooms are right next to each other, so switching the nameplates would be no problem. And the one who switched the names was... Well, of course it wasn't you, right, Makoto?
Right? Okay. I got it! Me and Sayaka were the only ones, so the only other person...
Sayaka fought with your killer there in the room, yes?
I got it! All you have to do is... It sure is. Specifically, the gold coating from the replica sword. You barely have to touch that stuff, and it'll stick right. And there's some on her wrist because...
I got it! Because she got hit with the sword, right there on her wrist!
I see. And so the truth...
Alright, then it's about time to solve this mystery. When the fighting broke out, the culprit grabbed the... And that's when the first blow was to the sword-based sneak...
And that's what broke...
So... She tried to fight back. She grabbed...
And that's exactly what happened.
When the fighting broke, the culprit grabbed... And that's when the first sword-based sneak attack.
Shoot! When the fighting broke, the culprit, and that's when the first sword-based...
And that's what broke...
So she grabbed the kitchen knife, but then the culprit...
And they killed her.
And that's exactly what happened.
When the fighting broke out, the culprit grabbed the sword.
And that's when the first sword-based...
And that's what broke...
So she grabbed the kitchen knife she had hidden away.
Shoot!
When the fighting broke out,
the culprit, and that's when the first sword-based...
And that's what broke...
So she grabbed the kit, but then the culprit took that from...
And they killed her with it.
And that's exactly what happened.
When the fighting broke out, the culprit grabbed the sword. And that's when the first blow was dealt. A sword-based sneak attack.
And that's what broke Miss Maizono's wrist.
So she tried to fight back.
Okay.
She had hidden away. But then the culprit...
And they killed her.
And that's exactly what happened.
When the fighting broke out, the culprit grabbed...
And that's when the first sword-based sneak...
And that's what broke Miss Maizono's...
So she tried to fight back. She grabbed the kitchen knife she had hidden away.
Shoot!
When the...